This is one of my little tricks and secrets in my good marriage.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to share it.
This is the first time I'm going to find out. She's been keeping a secret all this time for 32 years.
In a moment, if I get annoyed at something he's doing, at something he said, whatever.
I'm an annoying person. Very annoying.
It doesn't happen very often.
No, I'm very annoying.
If he does something that just like, it's like, ugh, you know, and that happens in every relationship, okay? Don't think just because we love each other like this that we don't have those feelings. We're human beings. We have those feelings. But if he does something and it gets stuck in my mind on a loop, and I don't know if any of you have that problem, but I get thought loops and a thought loop, and I'll think about the same thing over and over and over and over, and it's really annoying. It really bothers me now. At first I didn't even notice, and now it's like I hear it. It's like, oh, you're thinking that again? Oh, you're thinking that again? Will you let that go already? Like, why?
See, I only annoyed her once, and now she's annoying herself over and over again on the thought loop. Hey, look, Mom, no hands. I'm not doing anything. I only did it once. I already apologized.
So I think about, like, I don't know, this isn't something he does, but I'll say, oh, he left it. He always leaves his clothes on the floor.
I'm editing that
Okay.
out.
He doesn't do that, but I'm just taking an example. He does that, and I think in my mind all the time, oh, he always does this. Oh, he always does this. Oh, he always does this. And it starts to put a wedge in the relationship. It starts to put a wedge in my love for him and how we communicate. Because this is always in the background, even in my thoughts, even if I'm not saying it out loud, and it's happening in my mind. It's creating a block. It's creating a barrier. So what I do, my trick, when I get into this situation, I'm like, oh, there's a thought loop. That's a negative thought loop. I don't want to have it. I'm going to free myself from that. I think about, usually what I say is, this man would lay down his life to protect me.
È vero. Certo.
He loves me that much. So, the freaking towels on the ground, whatever, clothes on the ground, what does that matter? This man would lay down his life to protect me. I put a new thought in. That old loop is broken, and now I can look at him and just be like grateful and loving. It's like, oh, I love you so much. Thank you for loving me that much, you know? And I remember that. Sometimes you have to remind yourself, because the stupid things might get stuck in the way and gum up the works. But when I stop and I remember all the good things, it's like, oh, we have so much fun when we travel together. Oh, like I said, he laid down his life for me. He would do anything give me a foot rub whenever I ask, okay? Come on.
And we grew into that one. Because in the beginning we had a deal when football was on, I would give her a foot massage so she wouldn't resent me watching football. But it grew into a lifelong, eternal gift of foot rubs whenever she asks for it.
And he never complains or looks annoyed or nothing. I mean, it's just, anyway. So,
and also
this is how we roll together.
And I just want to say, taking the metaphor of leaving the towels on the floor, which we both agreed that I don't do.
You do not do, yep.
But when she tells me things that need to be done or I forgot to do, that's part of being a team around the house, I used to feel so criticized, and I used to have flashbacks to my foster mother, who was always attacking me, and always I wasn't good enough. So that would always trigger that to me, and I would get very defensive until I too looked through the veil of that. And rather than saying she's rejecting you or she's judging you or she's saying that you're not good enough, I saw through and I said, this woman loves me so much that she always wants me to be the best I can possibly be. And so every one of those things now she becomes my greatest confidant because she tells me the truth about how I'm doing and how I can do better. And that's a gift. And it comes from a place of love. It's because she loves me and she's showing me, look. And so I'm starting to grow in all those little ways that I used to be defensive because I didn't want to be controlled by anyone. I didn't want to be told. And also, but my deeper emotion was, oh, I'm not good enough. It hit that root, that root wound, I call it. It's like, oh, I'm still not good enough. I'm still not good enough.
And it made me afraid to say anything. Like I couldn't say, oh, you left the stove on, because he would get offended and hurt, and it'd be like, oh. But then I watched you change. I watched when you changed that, and it was like 180.
I think I did like a 360, or I might have even done a 720. So I think I spun around like 3 or 4 times, and then boom, but I was definitely heading in a whole different direction.
Yeah.
And it changed my mental attitude, and it changed the way I heard things.
Energy directed at me, and so it didn't make me afraid that I can't tell him that he left the gas on, and yet like it was dangerous, and so I feel like I have to tell him or something like, he would just go, oh, thank you, I'll be more conscious, and that was it, and I was like, oh, this is a new man. This is a new way he's relating to me. So it's amazing how we change our thoughts, and then we change our actions, and it really does open up the love and keep the love flowing between us now.
Be ye therefore transformed by the renewal of your mind. And our minds can be our best friend, or they could be our worst enemy.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's just a matter of a perception shift or an attitude shift. And in truth, to see things the way they really are. All of those things that come from her heart are coming from a place of love, and vice versa. We truly love each other and we want the best for each other. So when we perceive it that way, we're not getting in each other's way. We are the ones who are creating all these little stresses and dramas. And when you come to the truth of love, you realize it's a distortion of the mind. And you're fighting against something like, why am I fighting against her? She's my beloved. She's not against me. I'm not against her. We've agreed to share this life together and to grow deeper into this love. And what a great joy to take a journey every day into the deeper and deeper waters of love. A love that we found in God, but even that love is always beyond the horizon of what we've experienced in any given moment. And so, I get to grow into this love, and it changes and transforms who I am as a human being. And I grow in my ability to love. I grow in my maturity to be able to listen to criticism and stop taking it personally, because it's not personal.
And it's not like I nitpick him all day or anything.
No.
Don't misunderstand.
No, just like I don't leave the towels on the floor. She
doesn't
nitpick me. But it's just... and we can have a sense of humor about it. So. But it's important to bring to light, because it's things that I believe we all wrestled with as human beings. And we wrestled with those things much more so before we had God in our lives, in our heart. But we took the journey anyway. We took the journey through it all to connect to a deeper place in our hearts, and therefore to connect to each other from a deeper place in our hearts. And the journey is magnificent. The journey is rough. This is a rough planet, and injustice abounds. So we're not saying that it's all sunshine and rainbows, as you say. But internally, there's a promised land. Internally, there's a place heaven is a place inside your heart.
Yeah.
And if you haven't found it, go deeper. And not only will you find your own original spirit living there, you'll find God living there with you. And you'll find yourself in God and God in you. And that's the most true and authentic you ever can be. Who you are in God, and in case you have that aversion to the word God, who you are in love and who love is in you. Because, beloved, God is love.
Amen.
Amen.